Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video, and this is going to be my last installment for Hyacine's Early Access, where we are going to be featuring the Quadra Zero Cycle running herself, as long as with the teammates. In this case, she's pretty much going to be paired with Casteris. Every single one of those teams today is going to be exactly the same, and I'm going to be taking you guys through the couple of the thought processes behind the Zero Cycles in this Memory of Chaos 12 rotation, as well as the upcoming Memory of Chaos 12 rotation, right? So just a bit of a note first with regards to the build itself. Hyacine specifically is not really going to be that significant because generally speaking, for example, if I were to do like a Jiao Qiu Zero Cycle, you wouldn't really say that it is Jiao Qiu. It is more so because we are going to be running Jiao Qiu and Acheron. Same thing with regards to a lot of the other support and sustains. At this point, I would say that I had the greatest degree of comfort when I'm going to be using Hyacine alongside Casteris because she's pretty much going to be essentially the most synergistic support / sustain in the Casteris slot, as I have mentioned in my early access, right? So these are going to be the builds I'm going to be showing them towards the end of the stream, and let's just jump straight into the Zero Cycle right now. You guys have probably seen this from my previous early access review, but this is going to be running an E0S1 Casteris, E0S0 Hyacine with the Herta Store Light Cone, E0S0 Tribi running Dance, as well as the E6 RMC running Victory in the Blink, right? And I would say this specific Memory of Chaos, namely Pollux, he is basically perfectly designed for Casteris, and in this case Casteris with Hyacine. You will see absolutely exceptional performance when running these two teams together, so you know, don't be too surprised or don't be too bewildered because of the fact that how easy this is supposed to be, because we do get a lot of HP reduction, which means that we are going to be summoning our dragon very frequently, right? So a couple of things to keep in mind here. You basically want to always let go of Pollux every single time at full blast, and when this happens, you can see he will instantly break the enemy with no issues whatsoever, bringing us to 0%, getting us into phase 2 almost immediately. And yes, everything here was done using full auto. That's basically how easy this Zero Cycle was when it comes to achieving it, right? So the moment we get the full charge, we are going to be breaking our Mimi ultimate, summoning the Casteris dragon right back again. And you guys would have probably seen this from my very first Casteris Quadra Zero Cycle, where back then I actually had to manual play with Quadra, but because of the inclusion of this E0S0 Hyacine, we gained so much new butt stat generation for Casteris, such to the point where it is absolutely no issue when it comes to getting us 100, almost close to 100% uptime of Pollux. Basically, you can see instantly breaking off the enemy Pollux to 0%, breaking this, and we have a lot of actions remaining, getting a bit of a heal, 94%, flies in for an additional attack over, and he's basically dead, right? So a very easy Zero Cycle that was done using full E0S1 one Casteris, as well as on full auto, right? But that Zero Cycle, so I kind of just want to show you guys the couple of the other technically Quadra Zero Cycles I've compiled over here. So I did another run of a Quadra Zero Cycle, but this time I basically activated the E1 Hyacine to truly show you guys exactly how much faster this E1 Hyacine is gonna be giving us in terms of this new butt stack generation. We also have a little bit of an added E1 tribute because I was testing tribute out for the previous early access stuff, so do excuse me for that. But you can see over here, when the dragon legs go, don't use this as the benchmark as to how quickly it can generate, because like I mentioned, Pollux as a boss design, it is meant for you to generate this new butt stacks as quickly as possible of Casteris, so you can take the other 3 Memory of Chaos bosses as a better representation, right? So you can see over here, we are going to be getting 100% on new butt right now. You do want to get this Mimi's true damage buff first on Casteris, instantly summoning the dragon so that the Pollux can get Mimi's true damage buff. So you immediately let this go after we cast a 3-beast ultimate, because we want to get the res downfield on the dragon as well, right? As well as the vulnerability. So we cast everything, boom, and we'll instantly bring him all the way down to phase 2 from a single dragon attack, no issues whatsoever. And you can see over here, once we come back in, he's gonna start hitting us. We are already at 81%, bring us to a combined total of 100% almost immediately, because like I mentioned, E1 Hyacine does give us a lot of stack generation, because whenever an ally attacks, you can basically gain this new belt charge for yourself, right? So you can see we'll break him, and then we get another free dragon from the fact that he's gonna bring our entire team back down to 1 HP. So we then get off another dragon immediately following this, and this dragon will basically break the Pollux once again, most likely beginning to 0% if I'm not mistaken. Yup, okay, definitely bring this to 0%, and we basically killed the entire thing with 3 Polluxes. That's it. That was how quickly it was to get this zero cycle. Extremely short. Literally in 3 Pollux, we 3-shotted the entire Pollux Boss, which was, yeah, even Xiao was pretty surprised there. So that is going to be the run for the first half of Memory of Chaos 12. And now I'm going to be showing you the second half. This is going to be against the TV boss on 28 cycles remaining. So we're going to take a look at the 28 cycles. So the bottom top right hand is going to say 27, right? So for this, it's going to be exactly the same as the previous stage. You want to basically keep letting go of Pollux at every single possible moment. And when this thing goes away, you want to summon your Mimi, you want to do your Hyacine heals, get the ultimate back on. And now that we are going to be in our gentle reign of the ultimate state, we can then gain a lot of charge. You can see every single 3B follow-up, every single unicorn follow-up, E-card follow-up, we are getting this additional 2%, 3% new bar stat generation, and we can instantly get our dragon off right here with no issues whatsoever. Ideally, sometimes you might want to consider holding your dragon a little bit for a little bit more energy regeneration for the rest of the team, or a little bit more skill point regeneration for the rest of the team. But at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go on and just see where this goes, because this was my very first attempt when doing this second half of Memory of Chaos 12. So he's gonna summon. I was thinking to myself, okay, can I save a little bit of skill points? Unfortunately, Tribi does manage to kill everything in one shot, so it is what it is. Getting the TV on the second half, you want to wait your skills after the dinosaur goes so that you can make the rest of the TV happy. So at this point, we slam this in. Tribi lands a follow-up. You can see we are already gonna be at 51% new bar stack generation. E-card flies in 85%. We do get a little bit of energy over here as well as a skill point. And then once we pop off the Mimi skill, we are able to get the 96%, a little bit off from 100%, but it shouldn't be any issues. So ideally in this particular version, in this particular scenario, you should be getting your ultimate almost immediately had you guys chose to save your energy in wave 1. So you can see at wave 1, we basically went all in using Pollux, which was, you know, definitely a lot of overkill. You could have instead taken up a little bit more time, do a little bit more basics, a little bit more skills for both Hyacine, 3B, or even RMC to generate a little bit of energy. So if you had any of their energy at full in this particular point of time, then Cassius will almost certainly have 100% here. So she wouldn't need to waste a single skill, because one Cassius skill actually generates you a lot of new bar charges. So unfortunately, we have no choice but to basically use our skill over here, summon the dragon right after Mimi's true damage buff. Right, I do want to summon Mimi's true damage buff first, get the true damage, and then you summon the dragon. And since we now have the additional turn, we're just gonna immediately slam this dragon on, and this should bring us to phase 2 almost immediately and get... Okay, yeah, unfortunately, some things just never change, but no matter, because at this point, we know for a fact that this is going to be a 0%. We're going to go into phase 2. It is actually a little bit scary here, because I do want to make sure the TV actually hits us so that we are going to be happy. But I noticed that the dinosaur is actually quite far away, so I have no issues just doing the AoE hit right now, basically making everybody to be happy. Otherwise, you do want to make sure that the main TV dinosaur is always going to be angry, so that he doesn't force implant the angry mode for the rest of the TV. So at this point, we also generate enough charges for Pollux to basically rip off another dragon, dealing absolutely ridiculous damage without even making use of 3B and RMC and everything. So now he's going to be left at 5%, slap in a 3B ultimate, and that is going to also be another 0 cycle done using Memory of Chaos 12 on the second half, featuring the power of E1 Hyacine, right? And then we another Memory of Chaos 12. This is going to be against the True Swarm. This True Swarm is going to be the next Memory of Chaos 12 rotation. The second half is going to be, I believe, against Hoolay. So unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing any brand new enemies for version 3.3, or at least the next MOC update is going to be coming alongside. I guess this is probably going to be in the middle of Hyacine going into Cypher. So same thing, you are going to do the exact same thing, right? Summon the dragon, full blast, summon Mimi, summon Ika, let go of our true damage over here, and then we're gonna be able to get extra turn. Now, because we are not getting any of the additional energy from, for example, Pollux, you are definitely gonna need to use one Cassius skill to get us to 100%, and then we're just gonna let this dragon go. You could consider letting the War Armor Titan guy summon his 2 minions first, just to get a little bit of a pop. But in my opinion, I just feel, okay, you know, I just want to slam on and see where this goes, because as long as I can kill the dragon immediately, there are more opportunities for me to gain more new bar stacks. Especially with the power of E1 Hyacine, we're able to generate a lot more stacks compared to last time. So we're gonna get over heal 23%, fly this in for another wobbing back to a 34% for Cassius already. We are gonna generating a little bit of skill points. So in terms of a skill point priority, you do want to reserve almost every single skill point for Hyacine in order to maintain the 100% ultimate uptime. You can see over here, even using this rotation, our Hyacine is actually gonna be a little bit off from full ultimate, which means that going into this wave, we do lose this additional 1 action from Ika, we're actually very close to full energy, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's just something that we have to deal with. It is what it is. So we're gonna let go of Pollux using a full blast over here for 900,000 damage, bringing our True Swarm to 64% HP. Mimi flies back in with an additional hit over here, 90%, just enough at 93. So I want to make Caceres go first, Mimi punch, and then we just bring Caceres right back again. So keep in mind, all this time my E1 Hyacine was actually not triggered because she did not get enough energy to cast us into the ultimate state, which is honestly a little bit unfortunate because we could have definitely gotten at this point 100% charge on Pollux already, but unfortunately, you know, we just lacked a bit of energy, which sort of reminds me maybe some sort of tech could be considering running a 2-piece Von Weg or even 2-piece Penacony just for the sake of that 5% energy regeneration. So we'll see what that codes again in the future, but at this point we already have our Pollux at full blast. Let this go 1 million into 2 million and we still get left with 1%. Oh my god, I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, we still get left with 1%, so this is gonna bring our True Swarm into the second phase. Let go of our Tribute ultimate after True Swarm summons his minions over first. I keep saying True Swarm, but actually bro is True Sting, but it is what it is. And then we're gonna let this go after Tribute does a basic attack. So at this point we want to generate back up to 100% charge over here, which could be a little bit tight. You can see the action value remaining, we are basically down to our Caceres' final action. So how can we get this additional 64% charge? You can see over here the E1 Hyacine is really kicking, giving us tremendous value, and without this E1 Hyacine, I would say it would have been pretty much impossible for Caceres to nail this 100% new butt. So at this point, bro is gonna be left at 55% HP, slam the dragon, go all in, and hopefully this is gonna be enough to get us a 0 cycle, unless this is 1%. Okay, thank god. So that is pretty much gonna be the 0 cycle running against the next Memory of Chaos 12 True Sting, right? The first half of MOC 12. So that is pretty much it. Exact same build as our previous 2 Memory of Chaos 12 0 cycle as well. And then now going into the second Memory of Chaos 12, this is up against Hoolay. We're gonna still be using the exact same team that we have been doing for the past couple of runs. So we're gonna be doing once again the exact same principle. Always let go of our Pollux. At no point of time should you be ever saving. Just let go of everything. I can see over here the enemy minions are definitely also going to be a lot tougher. You will notice that they are actually going to be strong enough to take a full dragon to the blast even after we summon the second dragon over here. So over here we're just going to do the exact same thing, give our Mimis a true damage buff back to Caceres. Caceres gains the extra turn, 90% charge to 100% by the power of E1 Hyacine, brings the dragon back in, and then we are just going to let go of this full blast right here. Boom. At this point, if you wanted to, you could have used Tribute's ultimate, but I actually didn't because I was thinking maybe we could generate a little bit more time before we get into the next wave. So I stopped a little bit over here, but honestly it's gonna be up to you. And you can see we do have a lot of damage remaining, so they are gonna be doing their hits. No issues, very comfortable sustain. The dog is gonna be at roughly I think 1/4 or 1/5 HP, and the golem is roughly at 1/3. Our Tribute is gonna land the follow up, boom, and then Hyacine is just gonna continuously spam a skill. And you can see because we did get hit on Hyacine over here, we are gonna be pretty much guaranteed our 3-turn ultimate with no issues. So it really also depends on the enemy environment to see if you can actually maintain the 100% uptime. And luckily for us, Mimi actually punched this guy to death without using Pollux, so I guess that is pretty interesting. So Pollux is gonna be summoned doing the full blast against Hoolay, since Mimi actually helped us to get the wave 1 on that final tick of energy. Everything flies in over here for 777k, bring him to 64% HP. Probably could have waited for him to summon the mob first just to let this guy die, but the good thing is if the mob survives, we actually take a little bit more damage from the enemy, which means also more charges for Caceres' new bar. So actually it's a good thing to basically get hit by the enemy as much as you can. 91% into 94%. Mimi gives us the additional turn. So I was thinking to myself, if my Tribute ultimate can give us 100%, then I wouldn't need to use my Caceres skill over here, but I unfortunately am a little bit off, so I am forced to use my skill. Ideally, generating enough new bar over there can basically save your entire skill. So this is gonna be left at 43%. It will almost definitely be enough to get us the 0 cycle, or rather entering us to the next phase. Okay, never mind. 4% is actually quite a bit off, so we're just gonna take the hit over here, which shouldn't be too big of a problem the moment we slam our damage in. So 1 ultimate from Mimi and 1 follow-up from Tribute should put us in. Okay, never mind. Yep, okay, so this is gonna be a 0% getting us into phase 2. Mimi takes a hit, and Hoolay, honestly, as an enemy, is very good for Hyacine and Caceres, despite not having quantum weakness, because he's hit so frequently. And the more frequently he hits, the more new buff you generate for a team, as well as more energy you generate, especially for Hyacine and RMC. In hindsight, I probably should have placed Hyacine in the middle and swap position with RMC so that there's a little bit higher probability that she's going to be getting hit by the AoE attacks, right? But regardless, we are going to be dealing 1.3 million. So I'm not sure if you guys have noticed. So over here, you can see Mimi is about to take the extra turn, and this would have brought our Caceres, which technically is not really that good because it does in fact waste one Caceres action. But because we do have Caceres signature Lycone to give us the action value advance boost, it's actually pushed our Caceres beyond Mimi at this specific juncture. So this is because of the signature Lycone. So because that happened, we actually generated a lot more new. You can see it's going to be a 52% new bar generated just because of the fact that we pushed ourselves up right before Mimi. And because of this, combined with our E1 Caceres, or E1 Hyacine, Mimi pushed us up to get us into 95%, getting hit in the face by Hoolay to bring us to 100% right on the dot. Very nice over here. So we summon the dragon goes all in, and then you can see over here, can we get a zero cycle? 33% health remaining, 5%. So luckily for us, I believe Ika can land the final blow. Yep, okay, so Ika right here is gonna land as a final blow. Unfortunately, I don't think this would have been possible without the E1 Tribute addition because our damage was honestly a little bit off. You can see here, my Caceres is gonna be at 45% by the time this ends. So even running a Tribute ultimate, maybe with Dance, we can push up RMC to generate a little bit more charge. But there was a very good possibility that Caceres couldn't get the final Pollux needed to get a zero cycle, especially if you did not have E1 Tribute. So that is gonna be the quote-unquote Quadra zero cycle that you would have basically seen from Hyacine as well as Caceres. So just jumping over to our build over here, it is going to be this exact same team that you have seen all the time. It's going to be the E0S1 Caceres, right? This is going to be the standard 4-piece poet. And just keep in mind, in the early access server, you are basically, the gears are really not going to be that crazy, and I can't really be bothered to just keep crafting best in slot relics. And then this is going to be Trailblazer at a very modest 154 speed running the E0. I was testing this out to see if it works. Unfortunately, it does not work. I just know that this in fact does not work with RMC, but I was basically limit testing whether to see this works. So just keep in mind, do not use this warrior 4-piece on RMC, completely useless. Just stick to the 2-piece speed set and you're going to be in a much better position. Hopefully you can hit the 200 effective speed in battle. And then this is going to be our 3B E1S0 running dance, very standard, nothing too crazy going on over here. With the 4-piece, which like I mentioned is not going to be that crazy of a 4-piece poet. Right, it's not gonna be pretty okay, right? Pretty okay. That's gonna be bring us to, I believe, this 91% crit rate. So nothing too crazy with the HP percentage, means that just to generate a little bit more for our character itself. And then this is gonna be our E1S1 Hyacine over here, fully maxed out, running the 2-piece tree as well as the 4-piece warrior, rocking the E1. Right, this E2 also, I think I've mentioned in the earlier access, it actually does give your entire team speed buff of 30%. So every single unit speed actually goes up by 30%, not just Hyacine itself. So because the wording is honestly a little bit weird, is when any ally HP decrease, that specific ally speed increased by 30% for tutors, right? So it's any ally, it is not just Hyacine. So it's not it's a pretty decent light code. It's a pretty decent item, but for an E2, I still wouldn't think this is that crazy. I think this E1 is just absolutely insane for Caceres. As you guys can see from this video, we have quite a lot of chunk, and every single one of those zero cycles, believe it or not, I will leave it up to you to decide. I actually did them all on my first try. I did not reset a single time. That was just my first try, slamming it in, and yep, very synergistic, very smooth, right? So with that, we have basically come to our Hyacine Caceres. I'm gonna call this our Hyacine Quadra zero cycle. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Once again, this is not to show the extent of whether Hyacine is a must pull. Was it easy to get a zero cycle? Because at the end of the day, zero cycles without any resets, without the proper speed tuning, it's gonna take a lot of time. So this is just to serve as an example of what are some potential things that you can be cooking with Hyacine yourselves, right? I'm not to say I'm a good player or a bad player or a best player, essentially just for an example, right? So word of the day is gonna be chonkers. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter, join Twitter. All the best for Gacha Pools. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.